From dating to relationships, from sex to love, from Christianity to politics, from darkness to light, you have now entered into the real zone. Welcome to Conversations with Trent, where no topic of conversation is safe from discussion. Now, here he is, Mr. Epic himself, Trent Williams.
What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, beautiful people? Welcome to a conversation, a special conversation. I got a very good friend of mine, from Bluff City Leadership, Miss Tammy Gaitor, the butterfly herself. Actually, I decided to come on and do this with her as well because she's always, she sent she sent a song and asked me to take a listen to the lyrics, right? And I got to thinking. And I knew exactly what she was doing with that when she did it. I know her so well with that. But it was quite interesting. The conversation was very interesting and wanted to share it with you guys. So we wanted to share that with you guys. Topic for today is midday talk. Well, I'm going to keep you guys for like maybe 30 minutes or so. Can you restore his cape and renew his confidence? Let's bring her in. Let's see. This is actually her idea. So let's bring her in and see what she's talking about with this topic. One sec.
Hello, Mr. Can't call it, might spoil it. It's been a long time.
Been a minute, man. Been a minute.
Since we wrapped, right? Since we wrapped.
Exactly.
How are y'all doing? How's everybody doing? How are you, Trent? Everything's going well?
Yeah. Everything good.
Cool.
Everything's real good. So you sent me a text with the song and asked me to listen to it. And I gravitated to the lyric that you knew I was going to gravitate to. And you wanted to do this topic. I was like,
Yeah.
hey, this is a hot one. And I could only do this with you as far as this type of topic because it's very transparent, very open, and you cut no corners. You just tell it how it is. So what was your thought process on that song, Superman?
So, an interesting thing, you guys, I've heard this song many times over. Who doesn't know Charlie Wilson? Who hasn't heard this song, right? I hope you have. Most of us have. But this day and this was what, last week, right? Last week, maybe?
Last week, maybe a week and a half, something like that.
I was driving and it came on because I was listening to one of my coworkers had sent me. I have this thing at work that I kind of started because I started it with my grandkids, and it might sound a little odd, but I have this thing that we say it's not my thing, of course, and you'll hear this and know it's not my thing, but who's got the keys to the Jeep beep beep? And I don't know why, but I started singing this song like around the house some months ago. And for whatever reason, my grandkids, we use it as an empowerment kind of thing. So one of my coworkers was talking to me about it. She's not been so up on it, but she did share where it came from. And I'm telling you guys, I did not know the song that it came from. I referenced the song as the Rain song. Against my window.
Yeah,
right? Y'all remember that? What's the name of it?
Missy Elliott.
I can't stand the rain.
I can't stand the rain.
So that's where the who's got the keys to the Jeep beep beep comes from. Right. But I thought I always heard that song and thought about I can't stand the rain. Never really focused on the who's got the keys to the Jeep beep beep. Mm-hmm. But we had a great conversation. She sent me a text. She texted me the song so that I could listen to it all. And of course, I'd heard that before as well. But for my I Can't Stand the Rain song, it wasn't my Who Has the Keys to the Jeep beep beep. So long story short, Charlie Wilson comes on after I'm listening to this song. And I heard it. Like I heard this song. I heard the lyrics and they hit me, especially this part. And so what I did was I sent it to Trent, or asked him to listen. I said, tell me what part sticks out most to you. And it was this part. Now, all of it's grand, but put my cape on my back when it felt unattached, when I was at my lowest, right?
Exactly.
So again, you put my cape on my back when it felt unattached and when I was at my lowest.
And let's be clear, ladies and gentlemen.
And if I didn't think about my dad,
let's be clear, ladies and
I
gentlemen.
thought about every man in my life,
She knew exactly
right?
which lyric I was going to gravitate to. 'Cause she know my mindset, and she know the situation that I was in with this, situation, the bleed on the brain and whatnot. She knew what I was going to gravitate to. So
But Trent, I didn't think about your situation. I'm gonna tell you, I didn't think about your situation. You may have, but I didn't call you because, and I've never, and I'm not saying this to be the wrong way, but your situation has never been the center. Because what the call when you talk about how I said, okay, so okay, I feel you. Now what? Let's go.
exactly,
It's still what. So
yeah,
I didn't think
she
about it
wasn't
of
compassionate at
your
all, ladies and
situation.
gentlemen. She wasn't compassionate at all. When I told her what was going
No,
on,
I
she
just
wasn't.
didn't let him play the violin. I didn't.
She
I'm
did.
like, okay, bro, still the same God. He has the same purpose for you. It's
Exactly.
just a different ability.
Exactly. And ladies and gentlemen, for you guys who don't follow, not familiar with Tammy, she's responsible for encouraging me to bring the conversation back because I had been away from the conversation for years. And, with this situation, I was kind of reluctant. And this is the lady. So anybody, hate to see me broadcasting weekly now, blame it on her. This is all her idea. Yeah.
No, no. It's all
So
good.
yeah,
It's all
so
good.
I thought about that, right? When I'm listening to this song and look, paying attention to these lyrics. And I was like, wow, and I'm speaking to the ladies at this point, can you co-pilot when that man's plane crashes? Or will you be
Hmm.
like a dependent and take flight? Can you co-pilot? Can you co-pilot until you reach a comfortable altitude and he regains conscious and get back to where he once was? You know what I'm saying? Can you co-pilot? That's
Or
that's a
where
that's
he's
a
going.
legitimate question.
Or
I'm
where
sorry.
he's going. Or where he's going. Can you see him? So there's a quote, and I don't know if it's a quote, but I've heard this quite a bit. And no disrespect to anybody who is the trash collector, because I'm telling you, we do need that job, right? A woman can make a trash collector feel like the president of the United States and make the president of the United States feel like a trash collector.
Exactly.
Right? We
Exactly.
have that power. And when I heard that song, again, you guys, can you put my cape on my back when it feels unattached? Do you have the sight? Have you transformed enough into your feminine characteristics to be able to see when the cape is either coming attached, have never been attached, and notice when he's at his lowest and see his character qualities versus the things that we see as currency. And I can't get, I don't remember the guy's name, Gaskin, I think his last name is. I heard him say,
Mhm.
when we start to see
Tony. You talking about
a
Tony.
man's
I heard
character
you
as
talking
his
about Tony
currency.
Gaskin. Yeah, yeah.
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
he
Tony
talks
Gaskin.
about, seeing the characteristics of a man as his currency, and that's where he's going rather than what he has right now. If he has character, because if you have a man that has everything and have the cape but still don't have character, you got a mess. You got a mess waiting.
I forgot who I was bringing on here today. I should have brought my popcorn in.
I mean, but really, truth be told, you guys, if you've heard me enough, I would be okay with the man who works at McDonald's. As
Absolutely.
long as we're working our way up, baby. Working our way up,
Absolutely.
whatever up is. And we can work together. We can pull
Yeah.
two dimes
You know,
together, and
comment here
two
really
dimes
quick.
make 20 cents.
Oh, hey, Michelle. That's Michelle out of Chicago. Been a supporter of the conversation for years on top of
Hey,
years. Hey, Michelle, how
Michelle.
you doing? Yeah, remember Michelle? Michelle Kendall.
I don't know.
Yeah, she's out of Chicago. What did she say? I can't read that. I can't see it.
It depends on the relationship level. Men expect wifely assistance from girlfriends when they are not able to be a husband.
Mm,
And I get that. I'm speaking of people who are in a relationship that's growing somewhere, not the booty calls. I'm not talking about you met one night, hit it off, did a few things, and you
Right.
hook back up. Nah, not even a relationship.
And let's be very clear when you said that just now. Growing somewhere, not going,
Growing
growing
somewhere.
somewhere.
Right,
There's a clear
right.
distinct difference between the two.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And then I think we have to be careful when we talk about things like this, that we are mindful that we are talking about the men. We're elevating, we're finding out, determining ways to uplift our men. Sure, there are some men you could put a cape on them and another cape and another cape, and they won't see it. They will be the same. So I'm talking about the man who will recognize and appreciate the cape
Right.
and say, I am your Superman and I'm going to take us somewhere.
And
You stick with
I knew
me.
once I wrote that thing up, I was like, they're gonna take this and go somewhere else with it because in today's climate, and it's just my opinion, in today's climate, women seem to be a tad bit selfish these days, in my opinion. And what I've read and seeing, throughout I've been on this journey for about almost 20 years, coaching folks, and this is the worst I've seen relationships. Even when I was
Yeah,
coming out to Memphis, it wasn't like this.
yeah.
You was bringing that to
It's
Memphis, it
bad.
wasn't like this. It's bad. It's
It's
bad.
bad.
It's
It's bad.
real bad. Real bad. Totally different from and I was out in Memphis, what, 2012, 13, something like that. Totally different. Totally
Yeah,
different mindset of women, man. It's
yeah,
horrible. It's really horrible. And in today's climate, these women are really selfish. So my
right.
question
When
is, go ahead.
when we start to look at relationships and make them about money, ladies, you have to expect an exchange, right? If
Absolutely.
I heard a video where a lady was saying, okay, you women aren't here now saying you don't want a man to say good morning. You want him to say, what's your cash app? So if that's what
That's
you want
crazy.
him to say, if that's the kind of man you are looking for, then you got to do some things. You got to
Exactly.
pay him back.
That's right.
Okay?
Michelle, I get your point. I see what you're saying. She says, what I'm saying is younger men are not willing to put in the work. I totally agree with you on that. But I think, again, Michelle, you know me very well, and I like share responsibility. On both sides of the spectrum, no one's putting in the work. No one's willing
What's
to
the
do the
work?
work.
What is the work? That's what let's get to that today. What is the work of the men and of the women? Do we know that? Do we even know what we want in a man? Do we know
Okay,
what we want from ourselves? Because until you know who you are, you don't even know what kind of man you want or need. And so
exactly.
therefore you cannot be what he needs because you don't know what you need.
You see, when you guys speak of work, I automatically think about the personal chisel I always talk about. That's the work for me. Personal chisel.
Exactly.
Working on yourself first, then I could actually come in and give you everything you need. But I have to
Hmm.
chisel myself first. I have to work on me first. I can't come to
Right.
you a mess and expect you to pick up the trash and take out the trash. I can't expect that. I got to come to you whole. I have to come to you constantly and consistently using my personal chisel.
On myself. On
Exactly.
myself. On
Exactly.
myself. I shared with a young lady, and I see that Michelle mentioned younger men. I think it's both. I think we have younger men and older men who are not willing to put in the work. I think we have younger women and older women who are not willing to put in the work. They're not willing, as you would say, to turn that mirror inward.
Right.
They always have it faced towards you. And what can you do for me? What can you do for me?
Exactly.
I can't do anything for you if you don't first do something for yourself. But I shared with this young woman, I told her everything about you says nothing about you.
Ooh.
Everything about you, young girl, says nothing about you. Why? Because you are satisfying the world while your soul is crying out, listen, listen, listen. This is not what we need. Right?
Right.
So until you show up for yourself, you can't put a cape on anybody's back. And that's why relationships are failing. Because you
Exactly.
have two people looking for the cape to be placed on them, right? But I do think that there is something about a woman that's so great and that we don't know our power within ourselves, within this life, within this world, and certainly within the relationships that we are growing somewhere,
I
not
give
just
you
a
guys
one
an
night
example.
stand.
I give you guys an example. There's a clear and distinctive difference between a woman and a young girl. And this is a friendship here with Tammy and I. I've been knowing Tammy for years. She's brought me out to Memphis on her events, all that stuff. But I'm getting somewhere with this for 1 second. Just bear with me. But when I became paralyzed, I called Tammy. When I tell you that woman, my friend, encouraged me enough to, in that condition, in that state, I'm on a podcast, partially paralyzed, but the life she spoke into me was something totally different I had never experienced before. And this is my friend. This woman spoke life into me. 4 years later, I'm consistently back with the conversation because she spoke life to me. She placed the cape back on my back. She told me exactly, hey, you got to remember who you were. I'm still looking at it. I'm
Whose you
like,
were,
yeah,
whose you are, whose you are.
that's exactly what you said.
Right.
So
I mean, I don't think I put the cape back on. I just reminded you of the God that you
you put the
serve,
cape back
that
on.
we
You put the
serve.
cape back on. You put the cape
You
back
had
on.
I think you put the cape on. I think you saw the cape. I don't think it ever left. It just was a remindful
I
that
didn't see
what
it
you have
because
gone through.
I was in a desolate place.
Yeah, right,
I
right.
had to be reminded. I didn't see it. So my whole point is that's the difference between a young girl and a woman. My friend who say, hey man, no, we're not about to have that. I'm not about to give you no pity party. You're not about to pull this violin out for me. Nah, we're not doing all that. And I'm like, man, what is she crazy? But
You make it sound so bad when you tell the story. You make it sound like I
well,
just was, and I wasn't. I just was like, okay, okay. A lot of people, some people have been through worse, and they keep going, bro. Let's go. Let's do it.
exactly. Let's
And
do it.
life's gonna happen to you, happen to us. And we need friends that will say, I would hope that someone would do me this the same way. Okay, I get it, I get
Exactly.
it, I get it. But Tammy, there is work to do, and God is still the same God. In this situation, God is still the same God. So
Absolutely.
let's go.
I see you guys on Instagram. Really appreciate you guys. I see you, Othel. I see you, Nurse Nikki. Appreciate you guys. Yeah, but I sent you a message. I was speaking
Okay.
to a friend of mine. We'll call her Dr. K. Well, for all purposes. We'll call her
Dr.
Dr. K.
K. All
And
right.
she sent this message over to me. Tammy's gonna read it to you guys, and it's from a woman's perspective.
Okay. When choosing a woman who works, you have to accept that she can't handle the house. If you have chosen a housewife who can take care of you and fully manage your household, you have to accept that she is not earning money. If you choose an obedient woman, you must accept that she depends on you and you must ensure her life.
Mm.
If you decide to be with a strong woman, you have to accept that she is tough and she has her own opinion. If you choose a beautiful woman, then you will sometimes have to accept big expenses and have to battle jealousy. If you choose to be with a successful woman, you must understand that she has character and has her own goals and ambitions. There are no such things as perfect. Everyone has their own riddle, which makes us unique. Stop and think.
What's your
Okay.
thoughts, Tammy?
Um, I get it. I do get it. But it's deeper than that. It's bigger than the housewife who's going to have to take care and maybe fully manage the household. It's
Mhm.
bigger than the obedient woman who must accept that she depends on you and you must ensure her life, right? Deeper. If you decide to be with a strong woman, you have to accept that she is tough and she has her own opinion, right? All of these things are great, great. But the question still stands, can you be any of or all of these and still honor and
Exactly.
respect your man enough to where he says, I am your Superman.
Well, the
I
bigger
am
question.
because, Mhm.
Well, the bigger question. I'll
Okay.
rephrase this when I open up the podcast. So when that man that she's speaking of,
Hmm.
that when that plane crashes, Will you take flight or will you co-pilot?
Can you stand the rain?
There you go. There you
You
go.
know, I
So
like
if you're
songs.
successful, you're the successful woman, you have your own mind, you have your own money. But the breadwinner has crashed. The plane has crashed. It didn't land, it crashed. Can you co-pilot? Can you co-pilot and get that plane back to a perfect altitude and continue on the journey without friction?
So I got a question for the
Right.
ladies. Can you just say thank you, baby? Do you say thank you? Do you say please? Would you?
Mm.
Can you? Or do you demand and try to control? Do you treat your man in your home or the person that you're growing with better than the men that you work with?
Ooh,
Do you think you know what I'm saying? Do you know what I mean?
I know
Or the
exactly
man
what
in the street that may pass you and do you have that same reverence, respect,
mm,
love, understanding to the point that you don't want to beat him down anymore? You want
exactly.
to be the one who uses your words to uplift him, even when they've pissed you off.
Exactly.
Can you see a space in their life where they are still trying to be that man for you? Those are the men I'm talking about. I'm not talking about these riffraffs, these woo woo men, boys. I'm not talking about that. Can you first choose a man who deserves the cape for you to hang it up in the closet for that day when you know you're going to need it?
So my question to the ladies is, you know, when that man of character, when he falls, will you be there to comfort him? Will you give him compassion? Will you be passionate toward him, even though he's in a sunken place? Because we should not think that when a person's at their lowest, they're at their weakest. Maybe they just need a little bit of encouragement. Maybe all they need is a word of encouragement. Maybe all they need is a little life pushed into their lungs. That's it. He's not asking for no monetary stuff. Maybe what he needs is that encouragement from you. As simple as that. Sometimes it's as simple as that for a man. As simple as that. Hey man, just respect me while I'm at my lowest. Don't treat me like a doormat. Respect me when I'm at my lowest. Go ahead, Tam.
I was going to say, what? When is the last time you prayed for your man?
Mm.
Rather than spoke something to him, rather than try to figure it out, when have you just simply kneeled down and say, God, do you pray for your man? Because that's placing the cape on the back in the best way. That's a great
Absolutely.
question there, ladies. Have you? Do you? And when was the last time? Because there's a thing about WWP, when women pray.
Mm.
See, we got to take back the positions that God put us in. God has a humor that's out of this world, right? We have the babies, we make the world, we keep the world going, right? But
Yeah.
who are the women supposed to be submissive to? Who do the children I'm gonna go and say it, favor more? If truth really be told, daddies have a special place in this role, although that we keep it going.
Mhm.
We keep it going.
Why
And so
so?
are
What does that
we?
look like? Why so? Why you say that?
Why? Because we birth, we give life. God plants life within us.
Mhm. Okay.
We birth. And not all women have children, but I truly believe that all of us have those mother instincts, intuitions, and abilities, right?
Mhm.
And I'm not saying, because some people say, well, I'm not gonna mother my man, right?
Right.
Shouldn't have to. And it's not about that. And we got to stop coming up with these I'll say excuses that make us not want to deal with the real situation. Because the fact
Of
that we have
course.
women saying, I don't want you saying good morning, right?
Right.
Foolishness,
Let me
ask
ask
me
you.
for my cash app.
Let me ask you a question, right? I totally get that when a woman says that they're not about the mother man, but every man, in my opinion, needs nurturing at some point. There's a difference
Mm-hmm.
between mothering and nurturing.
Mm-hmm.
There's
There
a
you go.
difference.
Right. Right.
There's a
Right.
difference. Every
Right.
man needs nurturing. Think about it, especially African American men. The
Took
things
the
that
words
we
right out my
face
mouth.
daily, the things that we face daily, you have no idea. So when I come home, I just need a little nurturing. That's it. I'm not asking you to be my mother. My mother was a wonderful mother. I don't need that. I know what it's like to be loved. I know
Wow.
what it's like to feel love. You understand? I just need a little nurturing. That's it. That's not hard to ask for. That is not asking for much. But the question is, do you have the emotional intelligence? Do you have the capability to nurture? You could be a mother and still don't know how to nurture. My opinion.
Trent, you
Michelle,
brought up, and I was
go ahead.
gonna share. I wanted to say something about, especially our black men, and I know people. Some people think that that's an excuse. I want to share a story, very personal story that happened a few weeks ago.
Okay.
So my son does a little bit of everything, but he does fencing. He does fencing, has his own fencing company. So I was following him in his truck,
Hmm.
and I in mine. I had truck. Did I have some on mine? Well, long story short, we were following so I could go to the landfill with him, so he could get in to where I live without paying. Right. So we are on our way, and his truck is full of wood, and this police officer was next to us, next to me, but behind my son, if that makes sense, because I'm following my son, so they're in the next lane. And I felt some kind of way. I'm like, okay, he sees the wood, he's gonna find a reason to stop, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. And my son has told me before, Mom, you have no idea what we go through out here in these streets. You just, as a black young man, you have no idea what we encounter. I wouldn't tell you because I know you would worry, right?
Mhm.
So think about the fight that they have. And for those of you who don't look like us and you don't want to hear this, click off now. Click off, because the fact that you don't want to hear it and you think it's a continued excuse, click off, please,
Not an
because
excuse.
no one wants to feel that way. So our black men, and we are too, ladies, we have to fight. We have to fight too, right? It's coming to the point where we don't have to fight another race. We're fighting ourselves, and we're fighting
Exactly.
the people who look like us as well. So imagine when they come home, if they can just come somewhere and be seen as a strong man. No
Not just
matter
that.
how you are, understand your faults, your ways, I still love you, and you are still my
Let's
Superman,
take
even if I
just for
don't
a
love you
second.
right
Just for
now.
a second. Let's just take the strong off of that.
Okay.
Just be seen as a man. Just be seen as a man. That's it.
Mm,
Just to be seen as a man. And I
mhm,
honestly, I think that's where the disconnect
mhm.
come in with women and men, African American. To be honest with you, they don't see us because I have no idea why they don't see us. But every man wants to be seen just simply as a man. That's it.
Especially in his home and with his woman.
Exactly. You have no idea what you can inject into a man to push him forward to do great things just by something that's as simple as saying, "How was your day, baby? What'd you do today? Everything worked out?" You have no idea what you be injecting into that man. You have no idea the confidence you be pushing into him to go out and do it again the next day. You got to be careful and mindful, man. Are you speaking to these men? You have to be careful and mindful what you're saying to them, because we carry that shit with us throughout the day. We'll carry that negativity with us. So if you speak life into that man. It's my opinion.
Especially if these are the fathers of your not just this, but the fathers of your children. Why would we want to beat down the father of our children?
Now you're
Think
causing
about
trouble.
that. And don't think about what the man is doing. Um, and I'm not saying you be passive, but
Right.
don't not do what you're supposed to do because they're not, right? And that's
Right.
when you pray, you communicate, you talk, and it's not what you say, it's how you say it and when you say it. Because some of us will go off right in front of the children, right in front of the friends and the family. And then you want him to see you as someone that he's supposed to protect, love, cherish, right? And so this is about us, ladies. And I want to make sure that you know I had to learn to say, okay, baby, thank you. I
Hmm.
appreciate that. I had to learn that. I had to put my ego aside. What I needed, I started giving. You hear that? What I needed and wanted from my man, I started giving.
Mm.
Softly giving. And that doesn't mean there was times I wouldn't have to, Tammy, if that makes sense. I had to talk to myself because if I really want what I want, I got to be that. I got to give that. So it's not about him. It's not what he's doing or not doing. You first got to know that I got a good man. And
Hmm.
that good man is not perfect, but he's a good man. And the qualities and the characteristics that I see in him are worthy. They're worthy of my being light, polite, kind spirited woman.
So we're 2 minutes over the time that we said we give these folks. We give them these nuggets. So it's kind of different that you guys would see me during the day, but I had to have this conversation with Tammy because that's the only person that I could have this conversation with, as far as we talking about coaching and stuff like that. Coach D's a wonderful trauma coach. But there's certain things that I deal with Tammy as a coach and with D as a coach. And the only conversation, like we talking about transparency on this level, who's actually going to give you exactly what you need. And when I'm talking about what you need, I'm talking about what women need. That's Coach Tammy. And for D, if you need the trauma, she'll give you the trauma. But I had to have the conversation here today with Tammy. This is very important. When she sent me the song, it just got me to thinking, man. I'm like, wow, if my plane crashes, can you co-pilot? Can you get me back to an altitude that I'm comfortable
Mm.
until I regain conscious? You know what I'm saying? So it's transparency, man. Nothing but transparency. You have to be honest with yourself. Walking into your situation, always bring your personal chisel with you. Because I'm going to bring mine. You got to make sure you have yours.
Gotta
That's very
stop digging in somebody else's yard, even the person right next to you. You gotta dig in your own yard, chisel in your own yard. You
a big point.
cannot run somebody else's life, but you can be the best version of yourself in every situation and relationship. And that's how I coach. You do you. You be who you are. You listen to God and you do what you're supposed to do in that relationship. Because guess what? When you did all you can do, you can walk away. It's when you know you've left something on the table, just like the man or the man has left something on the table. Put it all out there. If you're going to be in the relationship, be in it. Put it all out there. That way, if it comes to an end, now, bro, if you've changed, let the other woman see it. Because you
Hmm.
don't block me so much, I can't see it unless God tells you to stay. So I say, put it
Man,
all on the table.
tell these folks where they can get this straight talk coaching from you. And you guys are doing a wonderful job. You guys are in your 99th day, I believe it is, right?
Well, in the season podcast, we're on my son and I are on every morning at 7 o'clock. We're reading through daily motivations for African American success. That it really is about internalizing everything, right? Truth be told, what we say, it's not them, it is you. Everything that happens to you, you can grow through, period. I'm not
Ladies
here
and
saying life is perfect because it is not. But I got a God who sits high and looks low, and I'm low and he sees me every day. And I'm just like Steve Harvey said, I'm crazy enough to believe that God will do what he says. Even in my worst season, God is still seasoned.
I got to tell you guys that every morning before I get, I get dressed, checking out their podcast before I get out to the gym. And sometimes my days are off if I miss it. When I tell you some phenomenal work that they're doing, some phenomenal work. I had the opportunity to speak on a panel with Brandon years ago, and he was young, way younger then. When I tell you I was so impressed with this brother, so impressed with, he's so knowledgeable, so knowledgeable. When I tell you, powerful mother and son duel every morning at 7 o'clock, 7 a.m. Y'all better get some of that. Get some of that. I'm telling you, it makes
Get the
my day.
book, Daily Motivations for African American Success by Dennis Kimbrough. And while we say the book is titled Daily Motivations for African American Success, everybody is welcome to the barbecue, is what we say, because we didn't get here by ourselves and we cannot do this. We cannot change the culture of race or racism alone. I've been told about us as a race just recently, we can't live apart. So we can't live together. That is a problem.
Absolutely,
That is a
absolutely.
problem. In a day like today, as rent is going skyrocketing, people would rather be homeless than move in together and share space because you don't know how to live in your space. Once your space is clear, you could sleep in a box and be happy. There are people that do it every night. And you can't turn over and just put your hand softly and rub your man's head because you're so caught up with the world. I've heard a lady want to divorce her husband who's bought a house, a big house, and said, baby, we'll just have to take our time furnishing it. She's angry and wants to leave because she wants furniture right now. That's BS. That's BS. So we'll have to come back another time. I know we got to rock out of here. Thank you guys. Michelle, I think I remember her. I was trying to look at her picture because she was around when we were like blog talk.
Was hitting on all cylinders. Yeah. So she's been a
Michelle
wonderful
said that.
supporter, man.
I'm gonna
All
put her
these
comment
years.
out here if you don't mind, Trent.
What's she say now?
She says, yes, I asked my husband, I'm thinking she's saying with the please and everything like that. He came as a Superman. That's important, you guys. He came as a Superman, right? Go girl.
Jose. Jose, that's her husband's name, Jose. They
When
actually went
he
to the
was,
conversation over in Jamaica when it was in Jamaica. They
oh yeah,
they followed me all the way to Jamaica. When I tell
okay.
you, wonderful supporter, Michelle has always been there supporting. Michelle out of Chicago, Illinois. I appreciate you and
So
love you, Michelle.
that's deep. Her comment is deep, ladies. Look at that. And it's a two-way street.
He
It's
came
a
as
two-way
Superman,
street.
Jose. That's what I'm talking
He
about.
came. That's another show right there. Did he come as a Superman? Because sometimes
Exactly.
y'all be trying to make the underman the Superman, and they just don't have it in them at that time. You got to pick and choose as well. You got to be wise,
Exactly.
discernment.
Before we get
So,
out, man, tell the folks all about you, what you got going on, so we could.
so in this season podcast, again, 7 o'clock every morning, and it's the N with an N in this season. We're on YouTube and Facebook, but my baby is Bluff City Leadership, and we are leading people by helping them learn to effectively communicate because we are communicating, but not effectively. And so in doing that, we offer an assessment. It's called a life language profile. It's about finding out not just who you are, but how you are wired. What do you need and how do you need it? And we help you answer those questions for yourself so that you can make sure that people know what you need and how you need it, and they understand you. They understand you. They're not offended any longer by you because they understand who you are. And a lot of people are together, men and women, who don't understand. It's not that you don't love each other. You're not taking the time. You so focus on love language. You are a whole person. You have a whole life that you come from. And when you understand yourself, you can help your man or your woman understand who you are and embrace and cherish you right there while you grow. So
Exactly.
lovecityleadership.com if you'd like to take the assessment. If anybody goes over, mention Trent's conversation with Trent, I'll do the unpacking for you for free. I'll do a 30-minute unpacking just to get you going in it.
Let me
All
tell you
right.
something, ladies and gentlemen, before we get out of here.
Cry baby.
I knew you were going to say it. I knew you were going to say it.
Cry
But look, if
baby.
you guys going to get unpacked, man, just make sure you're prepared because, you know, it's different.
It's
The
a breath of
unpacking
fresh air.
is a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
And I've done the work. I have my personal tools. I have the tools to help others. But when I did this assessment that I've been running from Tammy for years, and when she started doing the assessment on me, I'm like, wait a minute, this shit don't feel right. And actually, she was opening me up.
I was just gonna say that it opens you up. It really
It
does. I
opens you
cried.
up, man.
I cried.
It was a wonderful experience. I cried through I'll say it before she say it. I cried through the entire reading and everything. When she was unpacking it, I'm like, wow. And I coined this whole thing with the inward mirror, but she really gave me that mirror that day. She really gave me the inward mirror. So it's a
And
wonderful experience. And I wish that you guys would actually head over to bluffcityleadership.com. It's a
wait,
wonderful
Trent,
thing.
why would you you're an introducer? Why don't you send them to yours?
You know what? I will. I will. You know
Yeah,
how
why don't you
I'm modest.
post it?
I'm modest. So
Well, so am I, brother. We gotta keep it real. This is your show. You
that
are
is
you are an introducer. So post your link and let them go do their thing. Make sure your link is still working and good. And you can tell them what an introducer is if anybody is interested.
I
But yeah, you guys, the best understanding is the understanding of yourself, and you can go anywhere with that. You can go anywhere with an understanding of yourself, and you can hang with anybody that you choose to and still be you and not be bothered
Oh,
by
hey,
them.
listen. I know it's probably gonna be a ways down the line because it took us a while to get back to you and I being, podcasting. It's been about almost a year and a half, 2 years before we did this.
I'm good with it. Yep, I'll say
So
yes.
you'll say yes.
Yes.
We're gonna do it. We're gonna do a part two. We're gonna do a part
Okay.
two and hover around what Michelle said. How about that?
Yeah.
She came as a super.
That's fine. I love he came a Superman. That's a Michelle put a mouthful on there,
She,
because y'all
she
gotta
did.
leave these riff raffs alone. You just got to. You gotta leave
Absolutely.
them alone. You can't put a cape on a bear or
Stop.
a bird. Come on.
Stop.
I mean, for
Stop.
real. Yeah, I gotta go. Get me off. I mean, but for real. So we gotta keep it balanced and real. I'm for the ladies, really. But y'all, we gotta do better with the men that we choose to love. I gotta show y'all something. God chicks and the men they love
Who's
changed
the author?
my life. God chicks and the Holly. It's a husband and wife. Holly and Philip Wagner. And Trent, if you'll remind me when we do the part two, remind
Mhm.
me to share how I got this book. This was a godsend because I was so low about relationships and where I was in the process of being in a relationship. And I
Gotcha.
won this at a church. But I'm gonna tell you what I had to do to win it and how it all happened to where I could do what I did. Remind me, please. But God
I
chicks
definitely
and the
will.
men they love.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I've already backed on the corner. Part two. We're gonna do a part two, and it won't be on a midday. We'll probably do it like around the 7 o'clock hour, like you guys are accustomed to. So, if you
Okay.
guys could actually check this one out, it'll be on Spotify, Apple, Taylor K TV, YouTube, all that good stuff. It'll be there for you guys to check out because hey, we're constantly pushing out this content. We've been doing this content thing for well before they even started talking about content creators, well before they started talking about these 20-second clip guys. We've been doing this for many moons, man. Many moons. We've been in the game a very long time.
2011,
Yeah,
I think
very
was
long,
my first show, June 2011.
yeah, very
Yeah,
long time. So
very long time.
very long time. So we appreciate you guys. I just wanted to get on here and talk about this restoring the cape, and renewing the confidence of a man, a real good man. So we appreciate you guys and we'll talk soon. You guys be epic.
Conversations with Trent in conjunction with Taylor Kennedy Media and your radio network would like to thank you for calling in and listening to tonight's episode. We hope that tonight's conversation offended you just enough to turn your mirror inward to come back for more. So until next week's conversation, be epic.